What's going on, everybody? I'm Mr. Bitcoin Maxi. We're all Bitcoin Maxis now. Decided to hit the record button, walking downtown San Jose in the Bay Area, and I want to talk to everybody today about how I tricked myself into investing more Bitcoin. Now, first off, what started scaring me about investing was losing my money. But then I started thinking, well, what's to lose? Life is getting expensive. Every time we go to the grocery store, it seems like everything's getting more expensive. And then just take a look around where I'm at. Downtown San Jose, California. And if you look, these houses aren't even that nice. You know, I don't knock anybody if they're living in stuff like this. However, what I'm trying to get at is that life is getting more expensive. And if you are an average middle class, it seems like it's probably getting harder and harder and harder with the bills going up, you know, rent going up, mortgage going up, property taxes, you name it, car insurance. And so I started tricking myself to be like, you know what, I'm going to start investing my money, but I'm going to do it in a smart way. Now, when I first started investing, it kind of took me by surprise because I started getting somewhat of a gambling addiction, which I didn't really realize, but it was in NFTs. Once I first learned about NFTs, it was in meme coins. And so then I started telling myself, you know, I need to be smarter with my money instead of throwing it away. Instead of letting it sit in the bank where it's being deflated by constant money printing, and then going to the grocery store, things getting more expensive, I need to be smarter about this. So what I started doing was I was like, you know, if I don't need something, I'm not going to buy it. Because in my life, every time I wanted something, usually for the most part, I worked for it and I got it. Like my other video, I talked about my BMW. I really wanted that car. But then when I got it, it didn't make me happy. So then what I started doing was I started tricking myself to be like, look, I want that. It's something I want, but would it make me happy? No, because I know what it's like to get something and then it really doesn't make you happy, you know? And we think we want things until we get them, and then it just doesn't make us happy, you know? So that's one way I started tricking myself to be like, you know, if I don't need it, I'm not gonna buy it because it's really not gonna make me happy. And so securing my financial future is something that will make me happy. And now it's gonna be tough, you know, because I have to be disciplined about saving my money, and I have to be disciplined about putting money away. And that's something that I think that we all, maybe not everybody, but a lot of us struggle with, is that we use things like if we're stressed, if we're like, you know, dang, I feel bad today, I'm gonna go spend some money to make myself feel better, or I wanna go drink, or I wanna go hang out with my friends and go to a restaurant, you know? Now, am I by all means saying, you know, don't treat yourself? No, I'm not saying that. But what I started doing was I started setting a day every month that I'd be like, okay, this day I can go out, you know? 2 days out of the month, I can go out with my friends, go get something to eat, you know, or go do whatever, hang out, and setting a budget aside for that. And that was one thing that I was like, you know, I need to start tricking myself to where I'm budgeting everything to where I'm not spending my money and I'm not really realizing that little things add up. Because if you notice, little things add up when you go to the store and you buy certain things. Like, if, for example, if you're buying beer every day or maybe even every week, it adds up. Small little things add up. And that's what I started noticing when I took my finances serious. And I was like, look, I want to invest, but I need to see where my money is going. And seeing where your money is going is the most important thing. And I believe it was an interview with Kevin O'Leary, and he mentioned that, which actually I thought it was something good that he said, you know? And so it stuck with me. So I was like, you know, I'm going to start getting serious about my finances. I'm going to start putting that money into Bitcoin. And so what I started doing was every time I got paid, I would put some money into it. I'd put about $500 every time I got paid into Bitcoin. And I still do that to this day. And then when I have extra cash left over from my budget, if I can save from my budget. So when I have money from my budget, right? And I'm like, I still want to save money from my budget money. So what I'll do is I'll be like, hey, if I can save even my budget money, then that's even more money I could put into Bitcoin, you know? And that's a way for me to secure my financial future, because I want to get a piece of the pie of the 21 million Bitcoin that are out there. And so investing is something that I wish I learned when I was young. And I believe right now, El Salvador is actually educating their citizens at a young age, from what I've heard, on Bitcoin. And so investing is not really something that us here in the United States really learn about in school. And I wish we did. But it's something that we kind of got to take upon ourselves and learn, you know, because we're just told to go work, pay taxes, you know, try and save money. But we're not really taught that the money is being inflated, you know, because they print it and then it just gets inflated, you know. And so Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the best thing. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but it's the best thing that you can really put your money into. You know, I come from a family that's in real estate, and it's a headache, you know, with all the tenants that you have to deal with things that, you know, that go unplanned. You know, the water heater goes out, you know, the lock breaks, you know, you have to fix maybe like a shower head, or you have to fix the plumbing. And so that's a cost, right? Whereas Bitcoin, all you have to do is buy it and you just leave it, you know? And so, of course, there is transaction fees in buying it. The exchanges got to make their money, but at the same time, you have to think it's like a house, you know? If you're renting a house, for example, if you're renting out a house, for example, you know, you have to pay for something if it goes wrong for the tenants. And so that's one thing I like about Bitcoin. So I started tricking myself to be like, you know, instead of leaving my money in the bank for savings, I'm going to put it in Bitcoin. And I really recommend everybody to put it in a cold storage wallet, because I have, to be honest, gotten hacked when I was in NFTs. I had a MetaMask wallet and I got hacked. I downloaded something, I believe, because I like making music, right? So I downloaded a music software, and the site I got it from had a virus in it. So I lost about, I think, like $500-600 worth of NFTs. But thank God it wasn't a lot more than that, and it wasn't my stack of Bitcoin. But what I'm trying to get at is things like that made me realize it's all these things that have added up. It made me realize, look, investing also, you have to be careful and secure the things that you're investing into, especially with Bitcoin, you know, because there's a lot of crypto scams out there. You know, people send you fake emails. There's fake customer support from Coinbase that I've gotten, and that wasn't fun. Let me tell you, the guy sounded legit. And even for me, being in crypto for many years, even for me, that was scary, because the guy didn't have, you know, he sounded very professional and everything. And then I finally realized, look, Coinbase wouldn't be calling me. So then I just hung up the phone, and then the guy kept calling and calling and calling, and I just blocked the number. But thankfully, I don't leave my stuff on a Coinbase exchange. But that's neither near or there. But I'm trying to tell you guys that things like that, you have to be very careful for. And that also tricked me to be like, look, I have to take my finances serious, but also, like I said, taking security serious. And so I will leave a link in the description for you guys. You guys will get, I believe it's like $30 or $50 for signing up with my link for a Ledger wallet, which I highly recommend. I love Ledger. Let me tell you, I love Ledger. Their software is amazing. and their security to me is amazing, and I love them. So I'll leave the link in the description if you guys want to sign up with them, get some free Bitcoin. And so yeah, another thing that I started doing with, you know, tricking myself was I just started seeing a lot of things when I walk out. Like, I was in the military, you know, so a lot of things I noticed. And I noticed that a lot of people can't really seem like they afford anything anymore, you know? And it seems like homelessness is getting even crazier. I remember back when I was growing up in the Bay Area, there wasn't really a lot of homeless, and it looked a lot cleaner, you know? And the crazy thing is that now it seems like things are just getting more expensive and things are looking more run down, you know? And to me, I'm like, I don't want to be in that situation when I'm older, you know? I don't want to be left behind, I guess, is what I'm thinking. It's like, I don't want to be left behind. And I think right now the middle class is in a financial crisis with like the wealth gap getting worse and worse. And I think, in my opinion, Bitcoin is a way for us to get away from that, you know, to not get left behind, but also to be able to secure our financial future. And it's cool. Like, I have another video educating you guys on retirement and how you can basically start an SDIRA and you can start investing into Bitcoin, you know, for your retirement. So, which has tax benefits, which is pretty cool, you know. So that's another thing that I was like, you know, banks are going to start adopting Bitcoin, which they already are. And so I think it's going to become mainstream, you know. I think Bitcoin is going to eventually run the world. And so I don't want to get left behind. And so that's why I dollar cost average and I don't over leverage myself, you know. So I want to come on and make this video for you guys. I love just talking with you guys, making the vlog style videos, you know, when I go out on my walks. So yeah, consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helped me out. I appreciate it. And for everybody that has subscribed, I appreciate it, you know. And yeah, just want to grow a community of Bitcoin maxis. So yeah, take care. See you in the next one.